What's the crack, nut sacks? And a hearty fnarf to you all. It's Finbarr Saunders here, and we are back. That's right. Anime Hour rides again. I've managed to make my way back into the driver's seat for now, and joining me as ever in the seat to my right, my co-driver and bestest friend in the whole world, myself in comics, is here. Bianca, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
Now, Bianca, for the next two shows, we're covering our Members' Choice poll-winning anime suggestion, which this time round is going to be Death Note.
I hate you all.
Me too. No, actually, we'll get into that in a minute. So joining us for the first sort of 5 minutes or so of the show is the woman that recommended Death Note to us, the woman who I have replaced as the bestest friend to Bianca, the woman who is going to sit in the seat below us on the panel, but towers above us in stature, with 116,000 subscribers and climbing rapidly, making her Geek Getaway debut on my show, our show, is the host of the fantastic Nerdette's NewsStand. She's here. It's Tristen. It is an honor to have you here. Welcome.
That was an incredible intro. I love it.
Thank you. You wouldn't get Tony doing that.
That was so good. That was so good. I'm impressed.
Thank you. So Tristen, time is against us. You've not got long. So as a newbie to Death Note, and I know Bianca's seen it, I know she's seen them all, and she has a wildly different view of it than you do. Can you tell us what you like about the show? What sort of stuff drew you to it? Please.
So the one thing I noticed about Death Note, and actually Bianca and I have talked about this before, is to me, I'm a huge Batman fan, right? And I love the detective side of Batman. What I loved seeing about this was the detective work that we see from L, and in talking about the first 25 episodes, that's really where you get into the nitty gritty in the way that Light is able to manipulate. And I'm gonna still go out on a limb and say it's the best Batman story never told.
Until you mentioned it was like Batman, I didn't even think about it like that. And I'm a huge Batman fan.
They literally have Jim Gordon.
Character. Yeah, it does. And it has an Alfred, and it has a Batman and a Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Does, and it's incredible because it would be, and don't get me wrong, I love what they're doing with Batman for the most part right now, but it is a story that is complete and contained, and it would be, to me, something that would, if they did something like that with Batman, that could be done. And that's why I love this story. There's everything you could possibly want from, the detective version of him to, I guess you could call her a damsel in distress, a psycho in distress, I think would be a better word.
Yeah, he even has his Wayne Manor as well, which I didn't think
Yes. Right, there is so many different things you can pull from. And I even look at Light as more of like a Riddler type villain, right? He's setting the traps and trying to figure things out. He's definitely I think maybe more intelligent than what modern writers write for Riddler, but I could see them doing something like that. And that's what drove me to Batman. So that's why I love Death Note. And I'm so glad it won, because I love knowing that Bianca has to review it. Just saying.
You're lucky I don't hate you.
Come on. You know what's so funny is I made you do a video about Death Note too. So now, it's just triple the trouble.
We'd have to revisit that. I didn't know you made a video about Death Note.
Yeah, we did. It was literally titled The Best Batman Story Never Told, because there's so many parallels, but it's written, I don't want to say better, but kind of.
You feel like you're being bullied by your former friend, Bianca?
No way. Okay, maybe a little bit sometimes.
Me and Bianca are at different ends of the spectrum here. I've just watched it. I know it's made in 2007, but I dropped off the sort of anime cliff a long time ago, and I haven't watched anything new from 2000 or even maybe just before that. I know Bianca watched it probably when it came out
I watched it a couple months ago for the first time.
What?
Yeah, I never watched Death Note until a few months ago.
And she loved it.
And I disliked it heavily.
It was the thing was I got really into Death Note, watched all the seasons, got the anime, or got the manga, then watched, there's a couple adaptations that you can find online.
You're talking about the live action ones?
The live action ones, but not Netflix, obviously. I did make myself watch that just because I was like, I want to see all Death Note media. But the ones
Did you see the musical?
No. Wait, what? There's a musical?
There's multiple musicals.
Oh my god, I need to see this. You're combining two of my favorite things.
I'm sorry.
But there's some great adaptations. They do take like their own creative liberties, but they're really, really cool.
How close is this series, this 37 episode series, to the manga? Is it close?
It continues to where the manga ends, so it's the last parts are technically filler, from what I've been told.
Right? Yeah.
So the manga doesn't complete the story.
It more like it expanded on the story.
Right.
Like it could have ended on a certain part, but it decided to continue, probably for money reasons.
There was a new Kira too after that, wasn't there?
In the manga?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
From what I remember. But I didn't read it, so take it with a grain of salt.
So just quickly, well, we still got Tristen, Bianca. You dislike the series.
I do.
I did not dislike it.
I don't expect anybody to dislike it.
I'm 25 in, and I don't dislike this. I think I'm interested to see where it goes. There's stuff that's annoyed me.
Since I think,
which I will bring up once Tristan's left, so I don't offend her. But yeah, I don't dislike it. I think there's some good in it. Now that my eyes have been opened by a much more intelligent person to the similarities to Batman, I think I'm going to have a new appreciation for it.
It gives you a new outlook on it, right?
Yeah,
because
it does. Well, now that Bruce Wayne's dead, maybe it won't, but
then there's
I have an
always
appreciation for what I have watched. Yeah, I have a new appreciation for what I have watched. I don't know if I'm going to look at all the other media especially musicals, because music in this anime was something that really wound me up as well, which I'll get onto later. But yeah, I'm not disliking it. I think it's okay.
But I wanted to say, I think this appeals to people that, are into, I think obviously there's the Batman parallels, but I think it appeals to somebody that is into the more puzzling anime, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, you're definitely going to enjoy Death Note if you like the I'm setting this trap for 3 episodes later kind of situation. Like, you're gonna have to watch it all. There's a payoff. It'll be there, I promise, even though Bianca will say different. But it's so good. It's one of the best. And I've seen like 6 animes, so I know.
You also need to keep you need to keep your mind switched on, because you need to remember who knows what about who.
Yes.
Because these two guys are playing 4D chess with each other.
And it's great. So and the weird, like, I love their like weird ticks too. Like how L has to sit on his feet. It's weird. It doesn't make sense, but it works for some reason.
I'm doing that right now. It's the only way I can function.
That's crazy.
So I just like certain arcs of this. The arc is my favorite. The arc that I like is about to be over in the second part.
Well, this was the one you were talking about. The third arc was the one you liked the best.
Was it the third arc? How many arcs are here?
It's about to be over. There's 6 arcs total. The Yotsuba arc was 17 to 25. The one with the evil corporation.
Yeah, that's kind of the low point of it, I would say.
You think, right? Okay, yeah, because I kind of felt that too.
Yeah,
before that arc,
the second Kira arc, the one with what's her name?
It's where Light erases his own
Hermione.
memory. That's the part I liked. That's where I actually started having fun with this series. But I knew it wasn't gonna last long, and I was just waiting for the depression.
And Misa, she's so great too. Okay, guys, I'm going to take off, but thank you so much for having me on, Bianca and Finbarr, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks for coming, Tristen. We'll see you on the next one.
Yes,
Hopefully.
definitely.
Thank you.
We'll talk
again. Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So now that she's
And
gone,
then honestly,
it sucked,
everybody
right?
hates what?
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was too bad. So the stories about Shinigami, these death gods from, I'm going to say, another realm, because it isn't heaven or hell, is it? It's never really called that. And they've got these notebooks that they bring to the human world and leave in the human world for a human to pick up. And then when they pick them up, they can write somebody's name in the book. So I knew all this before, right? They write their name in the book, and whoever's name they put in the book, that person dies. That's as much as I knew about what this was. But as time went on, during the episode, right? And it must be where the breaks came in Japan and on TV. It flashes up like a card on the screen that tells you further rules about the book. Do you remember them?
Mm-hmm.
Those rules to begin with were quite simple, and then became like
More convoluted.
Yeah, as the series went on, the more rules of the Death Note became like convoluted and started to read like the rules of a complex tabletop RPG. It felt like that to me. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, like I would look away and I'm like, oh, I missed it. And I'm like, I'm not going back.
I started pausing it to read them, and then eventually I got sick of reading them. I just thought, I can't even, I'd rather if it comes up in the anime, it'll explain it in the anime. If it doesn't come up in the anime, I don't care.
Yeah.
Not like that. So, and then let me just, before I go on to the inside of the episode, the intro songs, right? We went from your suggestion last couple of shows, Izukin with one of the best intro songs I've ever heard, including all the title graphics and stuff. Loved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hated this one. I hated the song. And so the song was like really, and it wasn't like it started to stick in my head for a bad, in a bad way. That the first one for episodes 1 to 19. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Not the second one. The second one was worse than the first one.
The second one was good.
You think, if you're into that kind of stuff,
it was
enough.
Interesting in its own way, but I remember I liked the ending more of the first one.
So the endings I found less offensive, but I kept on cutting off the endings because I needed to get on to the next episode because I had 25 of these to watch. So I kept cutting the endings off. So, but the first song was irritating, and the second song, it was like some kind of like Japanese death metal, horrible, and then the title graphics were all crazy as well. And I didn't understand why changing at episode 20, why that specific point, because it wasn't the start of an arc or anything like that. It was horrible stuff. But anyway, back to the show. So Shinigami, called Ryuk, drops his notebook for, I think he drops it in the school playground, right? Is that where Light picks it up?
The school playground?
On
campus,
it's a playground, right? I don't know. What do they call it? I'm 42. I don't know what they call it.
He's in college. No, he was in high school.
Is he? I don't know. 17 makes high school, right? I don't know what it's like in Japan.
It just say it fell on the floor.
Fell on the floor of his educational establishment. Okay, so he picked it up. When he touches it, he can see Ryuk. This is the rule. So if he touches it, he can see the Shinigami that's connected to the book.
Are you a cosplayer?
Is that what he said? I can't remember. I watched that one a while ago. Did he say that?
I don't remember. I could have sworn.
If he didn't, he should have.
I could be so wrong.
So he writes, he reads the rules, he writes a name in it to test it, and then sure enough, somebody dies. So he realizes he can kill people just by, and then this is like when they started investigating it. So Elle appears in episode 2 over a computer, speaking to Interpol, and He says he's going to catch this guy. If a guy can just write somebody's name in a notebook, this is what bugged me, right? If a guy can just write somebody's name in a notebook and that person will die of a heart attack, why are they investigating that? A heart attack is not a cause for thinking someone's murdered. Or am I just being silly? No matter how many people coincidentally die in the same vicinity of, or they're all criminals, like, why would a heart attack prompt you for thinking this is murder? And it was quite early on, if you remember, right? It was
could
only a
have
few
sworn
people.
they tried justifying it by explaining it or something. I don't remember what it was though.
The explanation was probably as convoluted as the rules to Death Note, wasn't it? So Light's dad is the head cop. Is it Soichiro Yagami, the dad? He's in charge of the case to try and capture whoever this is that's killing people. So very quickly, because El has access to police files, because his dad's the head of the case, he becomes a suspect, and he gets tailed by an FBI agent. So America, the USA, send, I think it's 12 FBI agents to Japan to work on this case. And this one guy, this Ray Penber, he's following Light to try and figure out if this is the guy that's killing everybody. And Light decides to so he's told by his Shinigami, by Ryuk, that he's being followed, and he decides to try and bring this guy out in the open, and tricks him into getting involved in a bus jacking, and then he kills the FBI agent. And then that's what, to me, that's when it becomes, because I was with Light up till this point. I think there was nobody really before this that was good, was there? Everybody was kind of dodgy. Everybody that he killed at this point. He thought he was killing Eldo when he was on the news. You remember? But that turned out to be a guy on death row. Conveniently, a guy who's on death row agreed to go onto the news and do that. You remember?
Yeah.
Yes. So he thought he was killing somebody. Okay, at that when that happened, but this is the first time he's killed somebody good. So I'm now not with him anymore, especially because it was a lawman. So this is when he goes off the cliff and stops being the heroic protagonist, and then becomes the
antagonist.
No, not really antagonist, because the antagonist is El, even though he's a good guy. But he stops becoming sympathetic. I don't like him at this point now. And then his fiance, who is a former FBI agent in her own right, she wants to find Kira. This is what they're all calling him now. Sorry, it's Kira, because it's the Japanese word for killer. And she now wants to try and find him, track him down, and she ends up getting conned into giving her ID over to him, and it's really stupid.
She was doing so well until that point, and I'm like, I'm so proud of you, and I'm like, oh, you botched it.
Yeah,
you botched it. How are you a former FBI agent?
Yeah, and then like a typical woman ruins it for herself, and then he makes her hang herself. You don't see that on screen. I remember you did say, though, you were saying that the death scenes were quite bad compared to. I was asking you if it was bad in comparison to Demon Slayer. You said it was worse.
Different.
Yeah, it is. It's different. It's a lot more realistic.
It's not colorful. Like,
no.
Usually you see somebody rip somebody's head off, but stuff is flying everywhere, like liquids and stuff, to make it seem cool. And this one is just depressing.
Yeah, it's depressing. It's a lot less bloody, but it's depressing because the amount of heart attacks. It's like every other person dies of a heart attack, but you don't see any hangings. Like, yeah, I thought you would see a few actual suicides, but you don't.
Maybe it was censored from the manga, because sometimes mangas will show that and don't care.
The only suicide you got close to was when the one guy jumped and landed on a mattress. Which was another one that, how, but.
I mean, I'm just saying, if there is a guy who's 17 And he's like, yeah, I work with this person. I just need your name and your ID and this one other thing. I think he said 2 or 3 like requirements, but like multiple times. He's like, yes, we can do all of that for you. I just need this, this, and this. Just give it to me. And I'm like, no, you're not L. Just tell L the fiance of the FBI who died is looking for you. That's all you have to do. You don't have to give anybody anything. He knows her. He will contact her. He will do it himself. L will do it himself. He doesn't need anybody to do it for him. And that's why I'm like, you've literally worked with him. How would you not know this?
Yeah, and for a good majority of that episode as well, the one where he makes her kill herself, he feels like he's stalking her most of that episode. The walk from the police department or the police headquarters to wherever it is she went to turn around and walk back again, he was like following her like a stalker most of it. It was really weird,
noticed? Man. I don't remember if she noticed or not.
No, she knew he was there. It was like he was walking her, but he was walking from behind, like, and his internal monologue was going off, and it just felt creepy, really creepy. And then at the end, she's like, "Oh yeah, I trust you after you've stalked me all the way up the street and all the way back again. Here's my ID card." Crazy. So after he offs her, the FBI are pulled back to I think there's more of them. Or maybe I don't think there's more in Japan, but the US are involved in it, so they pull them all back. They're not getting involved anymore. The Americans are running scared.
Americans.
And most of the police force decide they no longer want to be involved in the case either. And I think there's only like, is it 5 of them left or 6?
Something like that.
Police left.
Less than 10.
These are the ones that have decided that their life ain't worth living, so they want to carry on chasing down Kira. So they all go. So the 6 that are left, or the 5 or 6, there is 6 of them, right?
Okay, we got the chief. We got.
I can't remember the individual
guy with the hair. We got the guy who's annoyed at everything. There's the guy with the afro. Are we counting Light and L? Or just the police?
Just the cops. So there's the chief, the mattress guy, the afro, the one that dies at the door of that building, and another one.
I forgot about him.
Is it 5?
So I guess like 5 people.
Right. So we'll go with 5. So that 5 of them. So the 5 of them go to meet L. They meet him at a hotel, and he gives them all like trackers in their belts and gives them all the interrogation to find out if any of them are actually Kira.
Yeah, he goes to college. Elle goes with him at the college, but I believe in that college that's when Elle kind of reveals to himself as Elle, and they play tennis together.
Yeah, he does that quite early on. It's pretty much so they give like a speech.
Yeah.
And then they're sitting together, and he's quite early on. He turns to L turns to Light, and he tells him he's ill.
He did a speech, and he got a piece of paper, but there's nothing written on that paper. I laughed.
The way he holds it, bro. Do you remember the way he holds it?
He holds it like it has cooties.
Yeah, between a couple of pencils. Yeah, so he's suspecting him right away. So I think he even tells him at that point as well that he suspects him as being Kira, right?
I would too, to be honest. I'm like, bro, you were so sketchy.
He's clearly guilty. Yeah.
Like, even if I was a bystander, I'm like, yo, why are you talking like this? Why are you acting weird? Why you make these faces? Because honestly, if you like, there is sometimes like he makes weird faces, and a lot of times it's literally just like his internal monologue face. But other times he puts it out there, and I'm like, can somebody please turn your face to look at him? He looks insane. He's smiling like a wacko.
Yeah, it was during that time. So at the college, is it college? Yeah, it's college
Yes,
or university.
graduated.
That they both get the news that Light's dad, the chief of police, has a heart attack. So they're worried that he's been a victim of Kira, but he survives it. He's okay, and he's in the hospital. I think he Light tells Elle that he would be willing to be confined in a cell or something like this, so to place himself above suspicion, I suppose, is what would happen. And at the end of that episode, there's a load of tapes are delivered to a TV station from a person claiming to be Kira, and that's the end of that arc. I think it's like a.
I feel like we missed a lot. We didn't even talk about Misa yet.
Yeah, we don't meet her yet. We don't meet her until the second arc. So
the arc.
The end of that arc, episode 10, is when the tapes are delivered, and I thought the tapes were coming. I thought he'd prepared these before. Did you think that first time around?
No.
Or was that just me? I thought he was preparing these tapes before he went to. Before he went into the hospital and said, "Oh, you can put me in prison." I thought that would have been like a cover. I'm in a jail cell. How can I be doing all this stuff? But no, this turns out is from Misa. The next arc kicks off when this is where we meet Misa, and we find out that she's got her own Death Note and her own Shinigami named Rem. The nicer of the. I mean, they're both nice. I like the other one as well. The other one is quite a nice one. Ryuk, yeah. Even though he looks like the Joker.
Yeah, they're both cool.
But I felt like the arcs as well feel like they've got like sort of soft borders to them as well. If you know what I mean, it's not like a contained story. They do continue on from each other. So far, anyway, to the point of episode 25. So I like that as well. It was, but I do kind of like a sort of complete contained arc, so I can watch things in chunks instead of watching all in one. But I had to, because I watched it all quite quickly anyway. It didn't really matter. So you find out that Misa has she's made the other thing as well we didn't mention is that there's a deal in place that they can make if they want to half their lifespan with their Shinigami. They can get the eyes, as they call it, and the eyes allow the person in possession of the Death Note to see people's names and lifespans above their heads, which is quite handy. The Shinigamis can do this anyway, but they don't share that information with the host. They won't. They're nice, but they're not that nice. They don't give away trade secrets. So if you want to, didn't understand if you get the eyes, and half your lifespan is given up. Does half that lifespan go to the Shinigami? Is that what they say?
I don't see why a Shinigami would need it if they can just die just for breaking the rules.
They've got long lives anyway, haven't they?
I thought they just live forever.
Yeah. No, they don't live forever. I don't think they do anyway, because they don't live forever because there is a rule that they can give their lifespan to a host.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So if they live forever, they would be given they would be making the person immortal. So I think they've got a finite lifespan.
Wait, really? I remember the lifespan being cut in half for the person. I didn't remember at all about the Shinigami giving them life.
If you remember the story that Rem tells to I think he tells it to Light. I can't remember who it is. He must be right. So because he can see Rem. So Rem tells the story to Light about when Misa was getting stalked by some guy, and a Shinigami, not Rem, another one, was like watching her from the demon realm or whatever it is it's called, and he intervened and wrote the stalker's name in his Death Note and killed the guy. That broke the rules, and then his lifespan went to Misa. Do you remember that? You don't remember, do you?
Oh, it's difficult.
I think that's what happened, and I think that's why when Misa makes the deal with Rem for the eyes, although her lifespan is now halved, it's still a long life because she already had a lot of years. Right?
Yes.
Right. And then I believe later on, the same thing happens again with Rem. Probably in episode 25. I think it happens in the last episode of the third arc that we watched. I think Rem writes Elle's name in the notebook, turning into a pile of sand or whatever it is she turns into. And I think her lifespan goes to Misa, but Misa does it again and makes another deal. I can't remember now. I can't remember.
Listen, the deals.
She makes another deal with Rem to get the eyes back because they gave it up when they both gave up the Death Notes. And then she must get another lifespan of another Shinigami. So she must be, even with the eyes, she must still have quite a long life. I'd have to look that up. I have to look up to see how many years she's supposed to have. It must be somewhere on, must be able to Google it somehow, because I would be quite interested to see. She made good deals. I would have to, for someone who's a bit of an airhead and silly and does some silly things and makes a lot of noise, she made some good deals, I think, in this anime. You know what I mean? You know what? You think that? Or am I just am I on my own?
I didn't really think about it.
I like Misa. I think she's my favorite. I think I'm going to say she's my favorite. Aside from the Ryuk, aside from the Shinigami Ryuk, the one that eats the apples, I think she's my favorite. I think Ryuk's probably my favorite. I like how when he goes into withdrawal symptoms from not eating apples, he starts to contort and do all these gymnastics. I think he's cool. So Tristen is right. He's like the Joker, and then Light is the Riddler, and she's right. The Batman similarities. Why didn't I see it? I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I needed a more intelligent person to point that out to me. Nothing else much happens apart from between those two meeting, between Misa and Light meeting, and then the two of them getting arrested, right? One not arrested, but her getting arrested and then tied up and blindfolded, and then Light volunteering to do the same, to get locked up.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes into the forest with her, and they make a plan that you don't get to see now. You get to see later on what happens, but you don't get to see the plan that was made now. He goes back and he says, "Oh, you can lock me up, and you'll find out that I'm not bad. Like, it's not me. I'm not Kira, and neither is she." And sure enough, the two of them are locked up for, I don't know, a month. When Misa gives up her death note, she relinquishes her death note. He relinquishes his. The dad, for some reason, is locked up as well.
Yes, I believe the reason he's locked up is because he would be biased. So they had to take him away.
Yeah, but he wasn't making he wasn't making final decisions. The final decisions were always on Elle. So the dad would have never really had.
The dad would have argued.
He would have argued, but Elle would have just said, "Look, this is my show, pal. Sit down."
He's also a father, so they're afraid that he would have actually have done actions. So they just locked him in a room to be safe.
But they weren't torturing Light though. They were just locking him up.
Yeah, just lock him up. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but he gets it in the end anyway, after the murders start happening again. When they relinquish the ownership of the Death Note, you find that they go back to, I wouldn't say they go back to normal. They don't remember any of what they did. They don't remember killing anybody. They don't remember having the Death Note. They don't remember the Shinigamis they had. This is when I thought and it wasn't right here, but it as it carried on, this is when I started to think they're gonna turn this guy heroic protagonist, meaning light, right? And I thought, no, I'm sorry. It was like there's certain points in or certain characters' actions that can't be redeemed. You know what I mean? The stuff you've done that you can't, even under influence, you can't be redeemed from.
Yes.
Killing innocents. So this is where I started to get pissed off. I thought, this is going to go the way I don't want it to go, where this guy becomes the hero. And I did think at one point El was going to get offed. And this guy, because he did say to him at one point as well, if I die, you take my place as El. And I thought he was gonna, and it was gonna be Light becoming El and chasing down all these other Kiras. And oh, come on. I thought, because this is the way sometimes you get with manga, that the people, they stretch it out too long and it outstays its welcome, and the story becomes so convoluted and branches off to somewhere you never thought it would, that it just becomes a mess. And I thought that's where it was going to go. And I knew this was 37 episodes as well, so I thought this is how it's going to go for the next, because we were on like episode 17, 16 at this point. But I'm glad to see that it didn't. It was and I know how it ends now anyway, so I think I will enjoy the rest of it now that I know how it ends as well. So they're all imprisoned. Some new killings start happening. The next arc starts at episode 17. You find out that this Yotsuba group, the most evil boardroom you've ever seen. The walls are red and they're all like evil businessmen, right? That's what it feels like, and it's like so cliche. It's painful, but we don't know which one of them in the boardroom has got possession of the Death Note. They don't tell you. They don't tell you right away, so you're just left to guess. They're killing off sort of rival businessmen, heads of other companies, things like that. And El, being so clever, determines that this is not the same Kira, and he still thinks that Light was originally a Kira, and I think he still thinks that Misa was as well. He's so smart that he knows that this is now a third Kira. And the killings keep going on. They're coming thick and fast. He brings in one of the cops quit. The Afro cop quits. So there's only like 4 of them left, and El brings in like a Black Widow type character and Con Man, like the face. He brings in the face of the A-Team to help sort of infiltrate this Yotsuba group. And then they use I don't know his name, the pathetic cop. You know, I want to do more. I just want to do more to help. That one, he becomes the sort of manager of Misa. They're all out of prison now at this point, and he becomes like the manager of Misa. She becomes quite annoying now as well, because she's back to a normal person, and they go and do sort of like a modeling photo shoot or whatever it is outside I thought it was right outside the building when I originally saw it, but he said it's like a taxi ride from the place where they were doing the shoot to the Yotsuba group.
Yes.
The pathetic cop goes to snoop around, trying to help out, try to be a bit more of a help to the team than what he's been, just being a gopher for this girl. And he goes up to the Yotsuba group's offices and ends up eavesdropping on a meeting and finding out that these people are in possession. Well, one of them is in possession of the Death Note, and he ends up getting caught. So a sequence of events then starts where Misa is roped into pretending that she wants to be spokesperson or some kind of she wants to work on some kind of advertising for the company. God knows why. I don't even know what that company does. I don't even think it was ever mentioned what they do. But all I know is that their share price is skyrocketed because other people have died for some insane reason. So they have a party. She brings along a bunch of our prostitute friends. It's the only way I can describe them. And what's his name? Is it Matsuba? What's the name of the cop? I should really learn his name because he's quite integral with the plot. Yeah, Matsuda, I think he is. He ends up knowing that they're going to kill him. He ends up doing some kind of acrobatics on the balcony and faking his death by flipping off. When he flips off the balcony, somebody a few floors below stick a mattress out to catch him. Now, I'm no physics teacher, okay? But if you lean a mattress over a balcony to catch someone who's fallen from above, they will hit the mattress and just flop through it and fall to the ground and die.
So that's why you need the memory foam mattress.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and also say that even a memory foam mattress is not enough to catch a human being at terminal velocity falling from above.
5 mattresses.
Yeah. It was the con man type character, wasn't it, that caught him? Maybe he's super strong. I don't know. Anyway, I found that a bit silly. And then they throw like a bag of sand over the side or something, right? They throw something from that balcony to the ground. But so he's fallen, being caught by the mattress, rolled into the apartment. Then they've thrown a bag of sand out to make the thud sound, hoping that nobody will look over the balcony and see that it's not a dead body, that it's a bag of sand, and also hoping that they're so stupid that they won't realize that there's been 30 seconds between the guy falling and the thud happening. That bugged me. This part bugged me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You did warn me. But anyway. So that's what happens. He fakes his death. The face guy, he's on the ground. The evil Yatsuba guys, I think they get out of there, don't they? They bomb bust because they're worried about getting lifted by the police, even though that is their building. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but it feels like party goes wrong, somebody dies, and they all run away.
Oh, yes, usually.
But it's their building. So like,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Death is death.
Like,
I'm a run,
I'm working.
bro. I'm a run.
Like the police they would go, I'm just working. This is where I work. I don't know who that guy is. Like, deny it, you know.
Unless they have like histories and reports.
But they were all drunk, and there were women there, so I don't know. Maybe who knows? Who knows? We find out that the third Kira is Higuchi. I think he's. I can't actually remember how we find out it's him. They just kind of deduce that it's him, right? From it can't be him, it must be him. They just deduce it, like, don't they? And then they get a hold of another guy that's in the meeting, and they decide that he, for some inexplicable reason, decide that he can't be the guy in possession of the Death Note. It has to be this other guy. So they use that guy, whose name escapes me, the other guy, to kind of manipulate what's going on in the board meetings, and because they know all these guys in this board don't really want to be doing what they're doing, but they're kind of blackmailed by Higuchi, who's got the Death Note. So they're going to try and con Higuchi into revealing himself and then showing them how he kills, because they don't even now, up to now, know how it's done. Even Light won't be able to tell them, or Misa wouldn't be able to tell them, because they don't remember how they did it, how they kill people. So their plan is to use the stupid cop again, put him on TV, have him tell the host on TV that he's going to reveal the identity of Kira. And he knows who it is, so he probably really is going to do it. And their idea is that they'll have Higuchi watch this happening on TV. They'll kind of reveal by accident, in quotation marks, who it is that is behind the screen. And he remembers that it's the manager, and the manager must have faked his death. So he wants to write the manager's name in the Death Note to kill him, but it doesn't kill him. So he realizes that the manager's name must be a fake, and he needs to find out what his real name is. So he searches for it, goes to the management company that looks after Misa, and he asks for the guy's real name. They tell him where to find it. He goes and finds it, and they're watching all this. So Light and Elle and the police are all watching how he does this on security camera. All they see him do when he gets to the management company is find the guy's file and write a name in a notebook. So taking a note, that's what it looks like. And he goes back to his car, realizes that it hasn't worked because it's another fake name, and he flips out. And he's speaking to Rem as well, so they can see this happening and they don't know who he's speaking to. But it doesn't work. It's not, but they still don't understand how he does it, because writing a name in a notebook is not odd behavior. So after he finds out the guy's name is fake, he turns to Rem, and in desperation, he makes the deal, makes the eyes deal with Rem, and he gets the eyes. And then he needs to go back to the TV station and look at the guy so that he can see the guy's name above his head. He gets back to the TV station. They've swapped him out for a mannequin. He's not there. The police chase him down. He gets arrested. There's a whole squad of police chasing after him to block him in, capture him, get him on the ground, ask him how it's done, and he just blots it out. Yeah, write my name. The name's in a notebook, and then they die. And then they all start touching this notebook. They can all see Rem. Everybody now knows that Shinigamis exist and Death Note's real. Elle wants to touch this notebook, touches it, sees Rem. Light says, "Oh, can I touch that as well?" Now, Elle, being clever, should have said, "No, you ain't touching this, mate, because I think you were one of them." Just lets him touch it. All of his memories come flooding back. He can remember all the people whose names he wrote down. He remembers now that he's also stored a piece of the notebook inside his watch, and he writes in blood the name of Higuchi on this piece of paper. And Higuchi dies of a heart attack. Although, because there's nothing else being written in the book, Elle doesn't suspect that it was Light that did it.
That scream was so intense. And he was like, "You good, bro?" And I'm like, I would not have asked that. I would have like, okay, he's insane. I need to get out of this helicopter, whatever.
I mean, let him touch it. Like this flies in the face of how clever Elle has been the whole time. The fact that he let him touch the book, shouldn't let him touch it. When he touched it and he saw the Shinigami, he should have thought, "I really don't want to let this guy anywhere near it because I still suspect him." And he has even said right up to this point that he still suspected him of being the first Kira.
He let his guard down.
Yeah, big time idiot. Aye, so what happened in the forest, what we didn't get to see is that when he gave his death note, when he relinquished it, so he had the Shinigamis put a fake rule in there saying that once the name is written in the book, the owner needs to keep using it once every 13 days or they'll die. What he does, what Elle's plan is with this one is he's planning to give the book to somebody on death row, and they're going to get the guy on death row to write, if I'm remembering this right, the name of somebody else who's a criminal to kill them, and then see if that guy, and then wait 13 days to see if the guy who originally wrote that name dies because he hasn't written anything else since then. I think that's their plan. But before he can execute this plan, Rem kills his butler, Watari, and Elle, and that causes her to also die. She disappears in a pile of sand, and Light wins the day because he gets rid of everybody he needed to get rid of. Misa's already away with the other Death Note, killing people on the side at this point as well. So that's going on. So he wins. This is the end of the arc, 25th episode. Light is back to being a bastard. Misa's away doing her bastard stuff. Elle is dead. The butler's dead. And the cops are all worried that they're all next. And that's the end of that arc. And what did you think, Bianca? I know it's been a while since you watched it. I know you didn't want to watch it again. But to that point, did you enjoy or no?
I didn't know. I just said, okay, let's just finish this. My favorite arc just ended. Light's back to how he is. Boo. Okay.
I also didn't know. how I was really feeling about it until I decided to read up on the rest of it. And now I think I may enjoy the rest of it. I wasn't really a huge fan of Elle, to be honest.
I like some bits and pieces.
Yeah, I like him more now that Tristen has put in my mind that he was Bruce Wayne.
Mm.
But it really wasn't enough to save him. I think he was kind of annoying. Didn't like his quirks. Thought he was a bit too much of a smart ass. No, all same reason why I don't like Light. Misa's still my favorite because
they both are very narcissistic and egotistical in their own way.
Yeah, and I like Misa because she's just like an airhead, and I like that. I think that's funny. But she's also quite, when she's got the Death Note and she's in possession of it, she's quite clever.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think that she would actually be somewhat intelligent in her own way. I thought she was, because before then, all I did was see like funny clips, right? Never see the show, but I would constantly see funny clips, and I was like, "Yo, this blonde girl looks dumb, bro. She looks dumb," and I'm like, "Oh, she's kind of dumb, but she's not that dumb." And I also didn't know that she had her own Death Note, and so I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Okay, she has the eyes." I'm like, "Okay, she knows what she's doing. She's that type of character."
The only thing I didn't really like was that, "Oh, I love you, Light, love you so much. Like, I'll do anything for you." Like, come on, man. This is like one step forward, two steps back. And I didn't really like that. It should have been him the other way around. "Oh, I'll do anything for you, Misa," because I would have. But outside that, I thought it was all right. I thought the fact that I was able to sit down and watch it one after the other like I did, and not get bored and want to walk away or want to go away and play a game or something like that, it sort of spoke volumes for what I thought of it. I found it watchable, if you know what I mean. Like I could sit there and I could binge it, which was good, which is always good. So I know you didn't like it, but I did. I thought it was alright. I would say this is a solid 7 out of 10 series so far, and I hope the rest of it lives up to the first half. Knowing what happens, but I still hope that when I watch it, I'll think at the end of it, this is actually quite a solid anime, all in all, because 37 episodes is a long series to get through.
I will always be in the minority. I know this for sure.
I actually thought, episode 25, when they were in the rain and then they got back in from the rain. I didn't know I haven't read up on what was going to happen beyond this. And then Elle is like wiping his feet down, and I thought it was going to turn into like a gay like a gay show. I thought
you didn't get it? That's a Jesus allegory. He was wiping his feet.
Of course, yeah. Of course. But why would he do that?
Because he realizes what's going to happen.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of like an
but he doesn't look at him like Jesus, though. That's the problem. Like, Elle should not be looking at Light as Jesus.
I don't think he looks at him as Jesus. I think he looks at him as somebody who is definitely superior.
So he's admitting defeat then.
Yes.
He knows he's been bested. That's what he's saying. So he probably knew his time was up. This is what you're saying. Right, okay. I can see that.
I believe when Elle was in the rain, he was saying he could hear bells.
Right. Yeah, I remember
that's the sign that he's dying.
Right. And Light couldn't hear it. Yeah. It's good how you automatically went to the most wholesome image in your mind that you could come up with, which was the Bible, and I went to homoerotic.
Well, the thing is, I was about to start, I'm like, yo, what kind of freaky stuff is this? But then it made the still, and then I was like, Jesus! And I'm like, it's a Jesus allegory! I got it, guys! I got it this time! For the first time ever, I found out it's a Jesus allegory!
Yeah, I wasn't looking for Jesus.
I'm not good with that.
I'm not a big Bible reader, so I wasn't really looking for them. But Yeah, now that you mention it, that's a fair point. Because I was thinking, okay, if this becomes a sort of gay police procedural, I wasn't going to be bothered about it because I liked so Madhouse did this, right?
Yes.
And Madhouse were involved. I think they were involved a bit in Tokyo Babylon with Clamp. They worked together on stuff. And Tokyo Babylon is gay, but I liked it.
What does that mean?
Do you know what
In the
Tokyo
literal
Babylon is?
sense?
They did. Oh, that's another reason why I got into it as well, because it was Madhouse. Because Madhouse did Ninja Scroll and Wicked City, Monster City, Cyber City, Oedo 808, one of my favourites, which we'll probably get onto on an anime hour. They did a lot of stuff that I really liked back in the day. I loved the character designs. That's why I enjoyed this one. And a lot of this was traditional animation as well, because it was 2007. There was a few computery bits thrown in there, which always bugs me. But for the majority of it, I liked the animation and I liked the style of it, because I've always liked that style, because I grew up watching that style. And I'm sure I've listed some off there that you've never seen. Right.
Right.
Okay, we'll get to them. Don't worry. They'll come up. Do you have any final thoughts on what we've watched up to episode 25? If you, is there anything?
Yeah, like I said, I've enjoyed some arcs. I just find this average.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I find it above average. I think it's obviously well received because it's been parodied in The Simpsons and stuff like that. So it's obviously been well received worldwide, and I can see why. It's an interesting story. Gets a bit annoying in some places. The notebook rules are convoluted. It feels like they made those rules up as they go along, because there's people have thought, oh, what happens if this happens? I will just write that this happen. You know, you can't do this, or gets a bit silly. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. Kind of like the story. You have to be switched on. You have to be really thinking all the time to remember where everybody's mind is. Especially Light and L, you've got to really know where their minds are, otherwise you get lost. But all in all, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Can't wait. So that's Death Note, episodes 1 to 25. The first 3 arcs we covered. The L versus Kira arc, the second Kira arc, and the Yotsuba arc. Next time we get together, Bianca, we're going to cover the Mellow arc, the Whammy arc, and the final arc. And I now know what the Mellow arc is because I've read ahead. And it's not going to be, so we're going to do it episodes 26 through 37 next. So it's not going to be a lot of episodes, but hopefully we get Tristen back. She'll be with us the whole time. She'll be able to turn your opinion of this around from a 5 to a solid 9 or 10 out of 10.
Oh, so 5 to 4? Okay, got it.
We'll see. So, yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks. Hopefully, Tristen will be back. We'll go through episodes 26 through 37. If you haven't done so already, this is me becoming the pro now, because I've learned from my good friend on the right here, Bianca. If you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Is that the 3 things you've got to say? Or have I missed
Comment, like, and subscribe. How are you liking this anime? How far did you get? Are you gonna watch the rest with us? Let us know.
Yeah, everything that Bianca said. Anyway, let's get out of here, Bianca.
Okay.
We'll all catch you on the next one. It's been a pleasure. See you again soon. Good night, Bianca.